Most businesses are wasting money on ads because they are doing one simple thing wrong. They are targeting only cold leads to convert instead of nurturing and retargeting their warm prospects who just aren't ready to buy today. Here's the problem. 98% of the people that visit your brand, see your ads, touch your website, opt in for your offers are just not ready to buy today. And if I could get you to just shift your mind, I swear you'll shift your results if you just accept this is true. What this means is only 2 people out of 100 are ever going to be ready to buy your thing today, even if it's an exact fit to solve their problem. Where do we get these statistics from? Well, let's just take a look at a statistic from HubSpot not long ago, and it says that 96% of all visitors are not in the purchase aware or decision aware stage of the buyer's journey. So that means of the 4% that are touching your website, seeing your ads, seeing your offers, visiting your landing pages, only 4% of them are even in buying mode today, which means they're in buying mode out of all of your competitors, not just because they visited your website. And in our agency, we have to remind people on a regular basis that when people see your ads on social media or Google, let's say, that they are also seeing your competitors. Now, it seems logical when I say that, but then in theory, when we're talking about the numbers and the results on the table, we somehow don't understand why someone visited your page 2,500 times, but you only made a couple of sales. When we look at the previous month and we see that 1,300 people visited your sales page and only 4 people bought, and you're wondering, well, what is going on? And so many times we sit in these meetings and we're having these conversations about rewriting the entire sales page, or we're saying, well, maybe there's something wrong with our messaging. The problem is you just met the right person probably at the wrong time. So how do we fix that? And it's something called retargeting or remarketing. And you can do it in a couple of different ways, but I'm gonna talk to you about one of the strategies we use in our 90-day sprint process when we're working with companies to help turn their marketing around within 90 days. And yes, that is true. It doesn't mean we fixed all their problems in 90 days, but when clients come to us with these problems with marketing, we have a 90-day process where we can sit down and say, from this day to this day, here are the 5 things we're going to do that are going to prove that you're going to get an ROI from your marketing going forward. But it doesn't mean all of the ROI is going to happen in 90 days. So if you're thinking that way, you're in the wrong place. So many times you guys are thinking that marketing is just some quick fix magic pill, even when you've hired a company like ours that's had tremendous success for our clients over the last 14 years. And that's a flaw in your thinking. But if you're the right person listening to this video, I know you don't think that way. I just wanted to put that on the table. Have you ever considered the possibility that the minute someone sees your ads, clicks on your ad, engages with your video, engages with your social media post, opens your email, clicks on a link, opts in on a website, comes to your webinar, or any of those other touch points along the sales journey, that due to data technology today, you can put them in sort of a digital bucket, whether that's on social media or on platforms like Google or YouTube, for example, and you can then begin to continue to stay top of mind with those prospects. We call it the top of mind awareness strategy. Great name. Here's how you actually do it and why you should. I'm actually sitting right now with my man, Zach Barnes, who is the amazing producer of our show. And he happens to also own a business called Saucy Sounds. If you haven't checked him out, we'll link that up in the links below. But Zach is an example where he is running his business right now and having what's called a 4 times return on ad spend by doing this one simple strategy. What he did was he built up an audience of people who were engaging with his brand online, on his social media, on his videos, on his posts. He is using this one simple strategy like a boss, and he's bringing in 50 to 120 customers per month for his product today. Now, I don't know about many of you, but would you like to just simply do the work to get people's attention, talk to them about their problem, show them a path to their solution, and then put a retargeting sequence in place that converts on autopilot? You know, one of the things we do with some of our bigger 7- and 8-figure clients is instead of us trying to drive more traffic and more leads and more sales, we go back into the database and we find all of their dead leads. We find all of the old leads over the last 2 to 3 years. And when you're doing that kind of revenue, we will generally find 2, 3, 4,000, 5,000 leads just sitting in the database that the salespeople are like, these people will never buy. And the funny thing is that if you did the right thing to get those leads in the first place, the problem that you just likely missed is that they just weren't ready to buy that day. So we first start with what we call a database reactivation campaign as one of our first campaigns that we run in our retargeting marketing. So we take the database and we'll do a couple of things with it. I'll just share with you two of them right now. One of the first things we do is we do an email remarketing sequence, and we use a very simple cadence. It doesn't matter what email marketing software you use. You could be using HubSpot, which is what we use for most of our clients. You could be using MailChimp. You could be using ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, Zoho, doesn't really matter, Salesforce. As long as you have the ability to isolate and find viable prospects who have not converted yet to your sales process, we will then isolate this group of leads and we will do something called problem awareness reengagement. Problem awareness reengagement. That simply means is we will write 3 to 5 emails with only the top 3 to 5 problems that these prospects have or had when they came into your world, and we'll simply ask them, do you still have this problem? The goal of a sequence like this is to simply get them to acknowledge yes or no. It is very, very simple. You guys think it's very complicated to get old leads to convert. An example of this is we had a company that had 30,000 active customers, and I don't remember the exact size of their unengaged list, but there was a list that I think it was in the neighborhood of 3,000 to 5,000. And I remember we actually spent 6 months on this particular campaign because it was an e-commerce product. And all we did was put this campaign in place. We drew it out on a whiteboard. We had exactly what we were going to say. We knew exactly what the problems were that this prospect would have had. And we executed the campaign, and the company started making sales like clockwork. Why? Well, because of any population of buyers, most of them are not going to be ready today. Going back to what we said at the beginning of the video, if only 2% of people are ready to buy today, or if HubSpot, as they say, only 4% are ready to buy today, then why aren't we marketing to the other 96 to 98 over time? And the answer that we have found is most of you just don't know how. You don't know how to think about the buyer's journey over 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months. The funny thing is you've already paid to get the lead. You've already paid to get the visibility. You've already paid to get them in your world. But the problem is your sales team most likely gives up after 30, 60, or 90 days because they're just not ready to buy and they have a quota to meet. And if you don't have a sales team, you just figure, well, if they're not ready to buy today, they're probably just a bad lead. And I'm here to tell you that in my 34 years of being in business, from sales to marketing to business ownership, and now helping hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of companies grow their businesses online, I believe that there's no such thing as a bad lead. It's just a lead who wasn't ready to solve their problem when you showed up in their world and you made the mistake and didn't stick around. And I promise you, from a retargeting standpoint, if you just get committed to that, I guarantee you're going to start seeing your sales and your profits skyrocket. So I told you there were 2 ways that I was going to share with you today. The first one is what we call a database reactivation campaign, or an old lead reactivation campaign, where we do problem awareness engagement. The second one we do is what we call our top of mind remarketing sequences, and we traditionally use social media advertising to do that. Think of these ads as billboards. Think of these ads as television ads. Think of these ads as radio ads. We can take a little bit of media from your business, and in our first 30, 60, 90-day process, we're going to extract media, whether that's video, audio, imagery, content, written, whatever it may be, and we're going to put that into what we call a waterfall sequence. I'm not going to get into the entire waterfall method here. We're going to put that into a sequence where we drip information about your product, about your service, and keep you top of mind. We're going to only use 5% of your total advertising spend for this specific audience. Why? Because this specific audience is going to be sitting in a very small bucket, and we don't want to send messages to them every single day because we're just going to burn them out. Okay, so we have a very simple setup in social media. The way you can do that is you can simply bundle anyone who's engaged with your Facebook page, anyone who's engaged with a Facebook post or an ad, or watched a video, opened your emails, visited your website, filled out forms. There are no shortage of touch points that we can put into this sequence, and then we put it in a very simple re-engagement ad sequence. And I'm going to tell you, it is the unlock to so many of our campaigns that people think that we're almost cheating, and they're wondering, how did you do this so fast? And it's simply that we went back to the numbers and realized that the vast majority of those people that fell out of your pipeline, they actually, according to a study that I remember reading in 2003 or 2004, that 55% of all the people who inquire about the problem that they want to solve, that your product or service solves, they actually will do that over the next 3 months to 18 months in most cases. The problem is you just probably didn't stay top of mind. Okay, so retargeting, remarketing, re-engagement, all three of those words really feel the same. You can do it with ads, you can do it with email, you can obviously do it with outreach, you can obviously do it face to face if you're still in the old school business model of sending salespeople out into the field. But I'll tell you that if you want to change your ROI, if you want to change your profit in your marketing, if you want to stop feeling like marketing is a money down the drain proposition, and you want to stop being frustrated, I'd invite you to consider the possibility that you have gold sitting in your database if you only knew how to mine it properly. If you want to know more about this, you can choose to click on one of the links beneath this video and choose the path that's appropriate to you. We don't teach things in our inner circle that we don't teach in our agency, that we don't do in our agency. We don't do things in our agency that we don't teach our inner circle students. So it doesn't matter where if you're doing your own marketing and you just want to join the inner circle, great. If you need some help with our agency, we can help you there. The plan works the same either way. And if neither one of those two options are for you today, I'd invite you to subscribe to the channel and check out our next video right here or right there. It's up there somewhere.